Hey guys, so today I want to talk about how I converted my paintball gun into a airsoft gun. So what I have here is a War, WORR machine, which is a old school mechanical paintball marker. I say old school, it was probably popular about 10, maybe 20 years ago. It's definitely still a very viable paintball gun, especially if you want to rock an old school game or whatnot. But I had no more use for it. So I took an old loader and the body of the paintball gun, and I decided to modify it to fit a HPA airsoft engine, which I chose the Reaper Gen 1 as my engine of choice because I had it lying around the house, honestly. I wasn't using it into any of my current builds. I had replaced it with other engines that I bought, like the Polish Arc Hythera. It was actually, this engine was in my Titman Recon from very like back in the day. It's one of my first ever conversions I did and to HPA airsoft, and it worked fine that for a while. But I got a Polish Arc Hythera fully mechanical system without the need to use any batteries. So I pulled this engine out, put the Kythera in, and I had this just lying around the house. I was like, okay, hey, it might fit into this paintball gun. So while the methodology of me and other people who have converted airsoft guns into paintball guns into airsoft guns, got that backwards, stays the same, my way of going about it is slightly different. I don't have the skill set or the tools to be able to go through and make this perfectly fit inside without anybody noticing that this is an airsoft gun. So what I did was I took the top part of the paintball gun back here and here, so here and here. I dremeled and used a grinder to cut it out. I don't know if you can tell, but I went through and cut out the existing pieces of metal in the where it held the cylinders and bolts and whatnot. I cut that out and allowed the M4 hop-up unit to fit. Now I could not get the M4 hop-up unit to feed from the upside down position, which means I had to go through and cut out the actual the hop-up arm and the mechanical parts to make the hop-up functional. So this does not have any hop-up that can ever be applied to it unless I can go through and create a TDC hop-up and drill out the front part and create like a little grub screw that will press down the hop-up rubber. I'd have to rotate the barrel as well. But I could do that in the future, but as of right now, I've not. It's just a straight shot, so it curves down pretty quickly. So like I'll shoot and almost immediately you can notice a drop in the angle of the BB. Also with this particular marker, I wanted to keep the back two little pieces of metal because I think it looks cool, how like little wings. But also I did that there to help secure the engine so it won't move or wiggle around. It'll kind of serves two purposes, two functions: security for the engine and for looks, for coolness and whatnot. And the most important part, the most hardest part for this actual build was the board, which is right here. I don't know if you can tell, this little piece right here. I had to go through and Dremel out with a Dremel the plastic on one side of the grip. So where the trigger assembly was, I had to remove all the original trigger assembly. I had to drill out the space for the trigger board, or the motherboard, or whatever it's called, for the Wolverine Spartan edition electronics. Took a regular M4 trigger, went through, drilled out a separate hole right here for the trigger to sit so it would fit and it would perfectly line up with the micro switch to cause the gun to shoot. And bang bang boom, I was able to make it work. The only issue was the motherboard or the electronics stuck too far up in the actual marker, so they stuck too far up in here. So I went through and took a spacer right here, two of them actually, and so instead of making it fit flush, I made it so it would grind out tight right here and have a bit of space in between. And also it gives it a kind of a funky look. Yeah, sure, it's not as secure as it was before, but I mean, as long as I'm not going through and dragging on the dirt like an actual paintball marker would, it's fine. So maybe in the future I can go through and Dremel out some more of the metal to make it fit, but as of right now I'm completely fine with it. And also the extra zip ties holding the actual engine help secure it to the gun. So I have this one right here down below the trigger assembly to make this even more secure and hold the front end there, while the back one is just holding to the top receiver or the upper receiver. So besides that, to help make the BBs load, because of course I rotated the M4 hop-up unit, so it's upside down, I took a piece of plastic tubing that I got lying around the house. I actually went to Lowe's and bought some thicker, more durable plastic, but I found this right here at the house, and it was perfect. It's perfect length, already pre-cut for me, so I didn't have to use it. So I still have that tubing left over if I ever want to make like a different build, possibly. I just simply stuck it on here and stuck the other piece inside there pretty far, about this far, into the actual gun itself, or the hopper itself. That way the BBs load. Now, the issues that I ran into, because this is not in a gearbox, the M4 nozzle was too far or too long, and so it stuck too far into the actual hop-up unit. So in order to fix that, I went through and put a very, very small spacer. I don't know if you can tell, it's right here. A small like, little washer that I drilled out a little bit so it fits on there, so it allows it to never be pushed too close to it. Now, downsides. When I put that washer there, it doesn't fully seal, meaning that the pressure and the PSI is not that great. So I'm shooting like at 0.8, I think like 130 PSI when I was with .2s. Keep that in mind, .2s. I'm shooting at 330 FPS. So if I were to probably go to a heavier weight, my joules probably increase, possibly. I haven't tested with heavier weight ammo because I just want to be able to use cheap, lightweight ammo that I can go buy an abundance of and go out and just have a good old time. I'm not getting much range, so why should I spend a lot of money in ammo? But I'm using cheap, lightweight ammo, which means I don't have a fast or a high joule, but I have a fast speed, so kind of evens out, I suppose. But the other part about the not sealing properly, that whenever I shoot, you can actually visibly watch in the videos I'll put after the intro. You can watch the BBs in here be thrown back up in the hopper and then fall back down. Now, when I was shot the initial test, I only had maybe enough BBs to shoot 30, 40 times, so it only filled up to about like right here. Not a lot, not like up here where I'm gonna have it for an actual game. So whenever I have a lot of BBs, it may not throw them so high because I might not have anywhere to go. That will have to remain to be seen, and we'll just have to do some more testing and whatnot. But as of right now, everything is done. I put a zip tie to secure this piece of plastic to the actual M4 unit, or M4 hop-up unit. And the only modification did the trigger. It was a little back kick plate to secure it from going too far backwards. I removed that because it wouldn't fit in the actual trigger assembly for the original paintball gun. I left the safety intact, although it doesn't actually function. It's just, it kind of clicks just for kicks and giggles, I suppose. And in the future, I may go through, because you ever notice in the videos, the wires on this gun do not, they don't go anywhere. I've considered going through and drilling a hole out in the very back right here where the wires come out so the battery can sit in here. I've also considered going through, cutting a little hole in here because there's space in the grip to fit the battery right here. But as of right now, I just simply hold the battery in my hand and then shoot the gun. And that's pretty much it. You can honestly go through and you can buy different regs and whatnot for the bottom of the gun and actually take this down here, somehow attach a reg to the bottom of it, and use this like a actual paintball gun and have a real tank stuck on the bottom of it. I just have an old CO2 tank that my friend gave me. That's lightweight, it's not filled up at all. So that way it gives it the same look of a paintball gun. I'm using a line off my my external tank on my back, so it's stuck up here, and it works and it looks cool. It's definitely a head turner. I've had people like, "Are you lost on the field? Like the paintball fields are over there," and it's fun. I think it's a fun little gun. I wouldn't necessarily say this is the most competitive gun in the world, but at the end of the day, I've seen people come out there with little spring hand pistols and whatnot, and they can go kick butt if you're good enough. You know, at the end of the day, it's not the gun, it's the player. You know, the player makes the gun. If the player doesn't have the skill, then the gun's not going to help them. It's not going to help them a lot. So I'm going to enjoy using this for as long as I can. And also, I just have the barrel sitting literally just right here at the bottom. So yeah, that's my paintball airsoft gun. I'll have pictures of my entire build process at the very end, so you can stick around. You can see kind of like a step-by-step instructional, or just see how I did it. It was more of this process was learn as I go kind of thing. So I would go cut a little bit, see how it fit, throw everything on there. Didn't quite fit right. Let me cut here a little bit. I use the Dremel and I use a grinder, and that's pretty much all I used to go through and cut. The Dremel had a little drill bit on it, so I'd go through and round my angles out so that it wouldn't have any sharp edges, while the grinder did most of the heavy duty cutting because this was some thick metal. And yeah. Oh, I told you I took a drill and drilled right in here just to stick the tubing in. That was really just a pretty obvious component. Oh, and to stop the babies from falling down the neck, I didn't tell y'all, I literally have not done anything. The hop-up unit sits perfectly in here, and it does not allow any space for babies to fall. So I technically have babies right in here. Just they're all past it. So the babies will fill up here. I'll keep on going by. Now these babies will never be used. They'll just always sit right there. But it meant I didn't have to go through and put any tape at the bottom of the hopper or any cotton balls or anything. I just literally just let them sit there. And I'm like, if I don't have to go through and do a modification, I don't want to, because you want to go through and see what works. That way, if you say, okay, I did this modification and it doesn't work, then go through and try to redo it or fix that modification and do it a different way. If you throw like 10 or 12 modifications on there and bang, bang, boom, it's just not working, it's kind of hard to pinpoint what exactly went wrong. So doing things slowly, one at a time, testing and then reevaluating where you went wrong or where you went right is, in my opinion, one of the best things you can do whenever you're building a gun from scratch or just building a gun in general. Or honestly, that's just a good rule for life, you know? Take it slow, do it one at a time. You're not in any rush. You go through, try to have fun. The whole process of this gun right here, especially, was just trying to have fun. So I wish all the best. Good luck in your own projects and your own daily lives, and have fun airsofting. All right? Stick around for the rest of the video. Hey guys, thank you for watching this airsoft video. Appreciate you.